All right. We're going to get started here real quick. So again, if you don't mind, please grab a pencil and paper, take some copious notes. For those who have first time on a call, those who have been on a call, please take some notes. You want to help move your business, talk to some people. This is how you do it. This is all in the same jar. So with that being said, give you a little information about myself. My name is Ron Austin. I'm an executive goal with this company. And yes, it is Saturday morning. It doesn't feel like Saturday morning. I can honestly tell you guys that it's getting kind of muggy and sticky outside. And I always say that one thing I love about the summer is the heat. The next thing I dislike about the summer is the fact of the sun. The sun slows people down. Everybody got something to do. So I'm going to do this presentation and do a short training right after it. And again, if you guys have some questions and answers, do so. All right. So jumping right into this presentation, as I said, I'm an executive goal with this company called 7K Metals. I've been in network marketing now for, 20 something odd years. And it's been a blessing for myself, my family, friends that I've introduced this business to, people who said these things never work. I can honestly tell you, if you apply yourself, it does work. I haven't seen one person yet who has put their time and influence into this business and didn't make any money. On the bright side of this thing, when you hear about our product and why our product is what it is, you can't lose, right? So my first network marketing business I got involved in, a good friend of mine introduced me to a company called Melaleuca back in 2002. And I remember hearing a presentation on a Friday night, and I told him, I said, if those products work the way that you say they work, we can make a lot of money. And we did. Even though, like I said, a lot of people said it wouldn't work. So the thing that I looked at, when people say it don't work, I used to ask the question, why don't they work? They say network marketing businesses don't work. And I say, I beg to differ. Network marketing has produced more millionaires than any industry in the world. The main reason why a lot of people don't understand network marketing is because network marketing is a business. I'm going to say it again, it's a business. And in business, if you want to define business, it's to find a product or find a problem, not a product, find a problem and create that solution to that problem, and you can become wealthy. Well, in every network marketing business, that's what they strive on. You know, some of them talk about losing weight. Some of them talk about growing your hair. Some of them talk about naturally safe products. All right. But then there are those businesses that supersede those. And those are the businesses we're going to talk about today. So when you start looking at this thing, the problem that many of us face today is the fact that we have to understand that half of Americans today cannot cover a $400 hiccup. Meaning if a washer and dryer blows out, if a tire blows, most people cannot afford to pay for it. They have to put it on a credit card or borrow the money. That is a problem. So when you start looking at the things that we face every single day, people, we're talking about food costs, groceries, we're talking about car insurance. It's not the fact that these things are going up. It's the fact that the dollar's going backwards. So when you start looking at this thing, it made a lot of sense. It's not the fact, like I said, that these things are going up. It's the fact that the dollar keeps going backwards. And stop me when I'm not making any sense. The dollar has gone down to 3 cents. And a lot of people beg to differ on that, but I live in Michigan. And in Michigan here, we're right from the border of Canada. And I can remember, and I hope some of you people who are from Michigan can remember too, when you used to take $1 over to Canada, and they used to give you $2.50 back. I'm going to say it again. You took $1 to Canada, and they gave you $2.50 back. Well, now you go over to Canada and you give them $3 and they give you one of their dollars. So you have to ask the question, what has happened over that time? I can tell you what happened. When Nixon took that dollar took the gold off the dollar back in 1971, which was called the Bretton Woods Agreement, that the dollar was backed by gold. Now the dollar was not backed by gold, and this paper dollar became a fiat currency. And when we talk about fiat currency, it's just the government's way of saying it is until they tell you that it's not. So over the time, people, we have been printing money to get out of debt. Every time something happens, catastrophe happens, we put money into it. Well, people, all we do is print it. So we're trying to print our way out of debt. And I often tell people that this dollar that we have is not meant for you to save. So many of us has got on the 40-40 plan. we're going to work 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire to 40% of their pay. And they say, I'm going to put money away in the savings account. But people, guess what? This fiat currency that we're talking about is not meant for you to save. It's meant for you to spend. So you look what happened during the pandemic. They started giving you stimulus checks. Those stimulus checks were not meant for you to save. They were meant for you to do what? Spend. And that's what we've been doing over the last couple of years, because we've printed more money over the last 10 years than we've printed throughout the history of the dollar. Well, people, we're not the only ones that have done it. There are a lot of people who've done it to try to buy their way out of it. But when we're talking about our dollar going backwards, the wealthy people are talking about, we don't understand what you're talking about. But they do understand, because gold and silver, tangible assets behind the scenes, has still been going up. So as the dollar goes down, gold and silver goes up, right? I'm gonna say this again. So as the dollar goes down, gold and silver goes up. So now what I say is, where should you be putting your focus at? So many of us have to understand that there are other countries that try to do the exact same thing that we're trying to do. The writing is on the wall, people. The dollar will soon go to zero. When that dollar goes to zero, ask yourself the question, what would happen to you? Just like these other countries, Germany, Argentina, Zimbabwe, all these countries started trying to print their way out of debt. You can't print your way out of debt. They went bankrupt. That meant the dollar hit zero. Our dollar will soon hit zero. So what's the solution to the problem? Well, we already discovered the problem. Let's talk about the solution. How do we overcome that? It's a thing called sound money, gold and silver. And when you start looking at gold and silver, people, it made a lot of sense. You know, this is one thing I do like in this presentation, is the fact that you can point out things to people. You can do this on a day-to-day basis. If you took $1,000 and you put it into a savings account at the beginning of the month, by the end of the month, people, you would not have $1,000. When they take out fees and when they take out taxes, you have to understand you're going to lose your money. We're not even talking about inflation. But when you add inflation into it, people, look at the numbers here. If you would have took that same $1,000 and put it into gold or silver, and I know you're saying right now, man, Ron, I put my money into a savings account because I can get to it. Well, guess what, people? It's not really a savings account anymore when you connect a debit card to it, because now you can go in there and get it whenever. But when I show you what we have, you guys are really going to get the understanding of why it's so important to be a part of what we do. So when I could change the slide, now, this is what really got me in this business is I go to people who do special things for me, just like this morning. Two people came over to deliver some furniture. And as they got done, they were sweating, gave them a glass of water, and they're taking the stuff off the truck. And I said, hey, man, I really appreciate what you've done. You guys put in some work. And I gave them a silver coin, 1 ounce coin. And they looked at it and they said, I said, do you know what that is? And they said, yeah, it's a dollar. And they were both looking at each other. And I guarantee they would tell you, if we didn't have the conversation we had, they probably would have went in that truck and they would have been talking about me. They would have threw that piece of coin away. They would have been talking about me. So I said, before you do it, and they waste my silver coin, I said, now, do you understand what that is? They said, it's a dollar. I said, no, it's a 1 ounce, 1 ounces of silver. Yeah, it's a dollar. I said, no, it's not worth $1. It's worth about $35. See, back in 1965, people, that would have been worth $1, because $1 and the silver coin were equivalent to each other. It's changed. A lot of people don't know this, but guess what it did? It gave me an opportunity to share my business, my business with people in a certain way, which again, it allows me just to sneak up on them, because most people today don't understand, metal, right? So if you take 1965, if you had 2,500 ounces of silver, you had what would have been equivalent to $2,500 in cash. You could have bought a brand new Ford Mustang. Fast forward to 2025, that same 2,500 ounces of silver could have bought you 2 brand new Ford Mustangs. That $2,500 probably couldn't touch anything, even the logo. If you look at gold, 72 ounces was worth $2,500 in 1965. Today, That same 72 ounces, if you had it, be worth $216,000. Now, you're probably saying to me, Ryan, I want to get to the good part. People, you have to be in it to win it. You have to understand the gold and silver thing. Because most people don't get it because what? They don't understand it. They don't know where to buy it from. They don't know where to get it from. They just don't understand it. So here's my point to you guys. The person who invited you on the call today is trying to get you to understand. The reason why they invited you on the call today is because they understand now what they need to buy. But the problem of that was very simple. We had to figure out the problem and come up with the solution. Well, these two gentlemen did. Josh and Zach Davis and Anderson were two of our co-founders, along with this guy named Roger Ball. They're not network marketers. They're business people who understand business, find the problem, create the solution. So one of the things that I tell people all the time is Roger Ball has taught Josh and Zach business, find the problem, create the solution. Well, that's when Roger Ball came up with a company called Melaleuca. He was the one who discovered tea tree oil. Roger Ball is a billionaire 10 times over. And the greatest part about it is that he understood that if he kept putting his money into a savings account, if that dollar hit zero, when that dollar hit zero, he would lose his money. So what did he do? He started buying gold and silver, millions and millions of dollars worth of gold and silver every single month to protect his money, insurance on his money. So I'm gonna stop and ask you guys the question. I know a lot of you guys have insurance on your car, your boat, your house, your health. Some of you guys even have it on your pets. So my question to you is, how come you don't have insurance on your money? Well, that's what Roger did. He put insurance on his money. But remember, we talked about this. How come people don't know? Because most people don't understand because they don't have enough money at the end of the month. So Roger created a way where people can make money. I'll say this again, make money and transfer that money into tangible assets by just simply sharing this opportunity with people. So most people, real quick, don't understand, like I said, about bullion, gold and silver, protection money, the defense. But we also, as I told you, we had a bright idea to come up with something that made a whole lot of sense to people across the world. Because remember, we talked about if you took $1,000, you put it into a savings account, you're only getting 0.001% off that money. If you put it into gold and silver, you're talking about 11 to 15%. So why do you keep putting your money into a savings account? Because most people simply say, because that's what they were told to do. They were told that because now if I put my money in a savings account, I got a debit card that's connected to that. So if I ever need it, all I got to do is go to the ATM and get my money out. Well, people, we have this system called a sound money wallet that knocks the tracks off of that thing. Because when you look at it, now you can put money into gold and silver increments. You can buy gold and silver, fractional gold and silver. And guess what? If you ever needed your money, people, all you have to do is click on a button and now you can get your money transferred, sell off that gold. I know people say it all the time, Ron, it would take me 4 or 5 months to liquidate. No, not over here. See, people, this sound money wallet is something nobody has. I want you guys to take a listen.
If you're watching this video, chances are you're curious about gold and silver. You might have a few questions, like why should I buy precious metals? What metals should I be buying? Who can I trust to buy them from? How do I know I'm getting a good deal? And how can I afford more? You should know that you're not alone. Most people have these questions, and over the next few minutes, we'll introduce you to an easy solution. Most people we talk to say they have a feeling that it's a good idea to own precious metals, but really don't understand why, or how to get started, or they don't feel like they have the budget for it, so they don't do anything about it. This lack of understanding costs them a lot of money. And quite honestly, we don't want you to make the same mistakes. We've watched far too many people struggle as the economy fluctuates, employment issues arise, or unexpected changes come up in life. Owning gold and silver can help shield you against all these challenges long term. When we started 7K, we established a mission to help the average person get ahead by adding precious metals to their portfolio, no matter their knowledge or circumstances. We've already changed the precious metals industry by making it extremely easy to get started without any maximums or any minimums, period. But that's not enough. We're now completely revolutionizing the industry and making it so anyone and everyone can seamlessly start buying precious metals. It doesn't matter if you want to start with $100 or even $1. The new technology provided by our partner company Sound Money Wallet will allow you to convert your cash to various asset classes of fractional gold or silver quickly with no games or gimmicks. With Sound Money, you own the metals you buy, but they store them safe and sound. They offer limited capacity storage for up to $50,000 in asset value. And you'll sleep easy at night knowing that if you ever want your metals, they'll be in the mail at the drop of a hat. How? Sound Money uses a non-segregated vault at their partner company, VaultMax, to store your precious metal assets, protected by some of the most technologically advanced security out there. You can be sure your metals are safe there. If you want your metal, simply request it. Pay the shipping and insurance and it will be on the way. But what if you need cash? The old way of liquidating precious metals, including lugging a heavy box to a local dealer, hearing excuses for why they couldn't possibly match the current market value of your metals, and probably ending up in a no-win situation, or contacting an online buyer with a typical $1,000 minimum only to find that the price they initially quoted you for your metal dropped significantly once they received your heavily taxed package 4 to 6 weeks later. With Sound Money, you can kiss all that headache goodbye. This is the only tool on the market with the power to give you frictionless liquidation with one of the best buyback prices in the industry. So whether you're a savvy investor who already knows the power of gold and silver and the advantage of a private vault, or you're trading your first dollar for precious metals, Sound Money will make your ownership journey convenient and easy. Be confident that control is back in your hands from start to finish. Let Sound Money Wallet work for you.
All right. Again, our Sound Money Wallet, people. I remember when I first got into this business, that was something spectacular. And I think we overlook our Sound Money Wallet. I was talking to my neighbor the other day, just a conversation. And he got intrigued because of not the gold and silver as much as the Sound Money Wallet. Being able to put his money into something that's going to increase, right? A lot of the times, that's the reason why most of us don't understand it, is because we were never taught it. We were never taught the offense and the defense. We were taught about coins. Well, this is the funny thing about it, is the fact that it balances itself off, because you can't have a good team without having a good offense and a good defense. We talked about the defense that protects your money. The offensive side of this thing is what goes way beyond that, because I always tell people I have never sold any of my coins. Never sold any of my coins. But I was thinking about it. When you start having coins that, I'll show you in a minute. But let's just say this. Numismatic coins are the offense. Coins that have been graded by numismatists on a scale from 1 to 70, and we call that a Sheldon scale. A 70 coin is a coin that has never been touched with a human hand. It's in perfect condition. And it raises the value of the coin, right? The same exact coin you're buying, bullion, is the same exact coin you're buying. But sometimes the coins have stories to them. And along with that story and the artwork on those coins, it now raises the value tremendously. So now, what I mean by that, take this Amazing Spider-Man comic book. Back in 1962, that comic book cost 12 cents. People did not buy that comic book for the paper. They bought the comic book for the story and the artwork. Well, if you had encapsulated that comic book today, you could have sold it for what it's selling for today, which is what? $3.6 million. That's the difference. So when we take a look at what we do over here, it made sense. So when I got into this business, I knew nothing of numismatic coins. I never knew anything about the $1.2 million mistake. But I wish my parents would have known about the $1.2 million mistake. I want you to take a listen.
You probably made a $1.2 million mistake and didn't even know it. Consistently purchased gold and silver bullion over the years, you would have negated inflation and maintained an average buying power. But what would have happened if you'd have bought collectible gold and silver? It begins with the MS-70 Silver Eagle. MS stands for mint state. It's a grading system. An MS70 coin means the coin is in perfect condition. If you'd purchased one MS70 Silver Eagle every month since 1986, you'd be sitting on a $1.2 million portfolio, and it would have only cost you between $50,000 and $80,000. That's why we call it the $1.2 million mistake, because most people didn't buy them. What's crazy is that's what the coin the US Mint makes millions of every year. What would have happened if you focused on even more exclusive, unique, and rare modern coins? Here are a few examples of the track record for a few more unique and exclusive coins that we've offered through the years. A 2004 Tiffany art coin sold originally for around $100 with shipping and is selling in the market today for between $5,000 and $10,000. If you didn't get one, that's at least a $4,910 mistake. The Julius Caesar 7K exclusive from 2021 sold for around $360 with shipping and is selling for between $950 and $1,100 today. If you missed it, that's another $550 mistake. And here's the Montana Butterfly from the 7K Autosaver program that sold for $150 with shipping. Today, it would cost you around $1,200 to get one. That's another $1,000 or so mistake. Now sure, those are great performers, but that's a portfolio of around $10,000 with only a few coins and a fraction of the cost. With time, the power and potential of collectibles are real, and we're on a mission to help you avoid the potentially $1.2 million mistake of not adding them to your legacy.
Now you guys understand the $1.2 million mistake, right? But there are a whole bunch of $1.2 million mistakes, like this coin here. This is a coin that has been scanned into one of our products called Stack and Sale. In our Stack and Sale, you'll hear a little bit more about it, but you can scan your coins in to tell you exactly how much your coin is worth, not just in your state, not in your city, but across the world, how much that coin is worth. And if you have some coin buyers, people who understand a little bit more, and they want that coin, guess what, people? That coin today is selling for $13,000. Yesterday, I was looking through my coins again, and I found not one of those coins, but I found two of those coins, exact same coin, right? And I said to myself, man, I could go out here and, like I said, I never sold any of my coins. I said, I can go out here and sell one of these coins for at least $13,000, right? That'd be a heck of a summer just to blow off $13,000. But I stopped and I said, well, if it costs $13,000 today and I really don't need it, what will it be tomorrow? Because people, I didn't go own any gold and silver when I first got into this business. But now when I look back and look at my collection is probably twice the size of this now, probably 3 times the size of this. I had some certain goals that I wanted to reach, and that's why I call my silver bars. So in this business, once you hit a level, and I'll talk about that, of silver in 90 days, they'll give you a 100-ounce silver bar. My first goal in this business was to hit silver so I can get that silver bar, because it's 100 ounces of silver. And people, that was my GoFundMe, right? I got 3 of those bars. Those are my GoFundMes. Because if anything ever happens to me, I don't want people in my family to borrow or beg money to put me to rest, if you guys get my point. That's my GoFundMe. So the coins that I have, I've had people who I sit there and shake my head and say, you guys don't understand. I know people who buy gym shoes. I know people who spend thousands of dollars on purses. And people, if you put that same money into gold and silver, and you understand about gold and silver, it would take you far beyond that. So let's go back to the network marketing business side. There was a guy who, when I first got into this business, I said, let me take a good look at this thing. See, I've been in businesses that did pill potions and lotions and made good money. I was tired of that because some people were getting hurt. Because when I got into this business, I asked the guy who had been in this business 3 years prior to me, are you a product of your product? And he said, yeah. I said, well, how much of this gold and silver stuff do you own? He says that about $350,000 worth of gold and silver. I said, stop, sign me up. I'm gonna say it again, stop, sign me up. Because people, $350,000 plus the money that he was making, which was about $7,000 a week. How can you go wrong with that? That's a beautiful life. So there have been people who got into this business and said to me, Ron, all I want to do is buy the product. And I'm glad, because now they share the opportunity with their friends and family. So that's what made this thing so important to me, because it's not hard to build. If you believe it, it works. 7K Metal says it. We're going to put the gold and silver in the hands of the people who need it the most. See, people, that's where it came fun to me. Is because, remember, we talked about that Sound Money wallet. That comes with your basic membership. Now, you're probably saying membership. Well, people, we don't sell the gold and silver. Me, I don't. Our team doesn't sell it. 7K Metal sells. All we do is introduce it to other people, make them aware of it. So they buy membership like a Costco's or Sam's. So our basic membership comes with that Sound Money wallet. It comes with that stack and sell that I talked about. You have vault access, meaning that you can put your money in a vault. And if you want to be shipped to you, as we talked about, you can have it shipped to you. But you also get this thing called a stack and sell, which again, you can look at how much your coins are worth. I hear people tell me all the time, Ron, how do I know how much it's worth? Scan it in your stack and sell. But you have to be a member of 7K Metals, and that's only fair, right? But as I started sharing this information to people, and people start sharing this message to other people, every time somebody came into the business, they were getting $40 to $80 in gold pay. That's aside of all the other stuff that we're going to talk about in a minute. So take a listen and tell me if this doesn't make sense.
What is Instant Gold Pay? It's the brand new 7K customer acquisition program that pays you directly in gold. Whenever you refer a new customer membership to 7K, we will instantly pay you either 20, 40, sent to VaultMax, and instantly shown on your Sound Money dashboard. We'll say that again. Instant. Gold. The minute your new customer referral finalizes their purchase, gold is sent directly to VaultMax on your, well, you do have to have your Sound Money and VaultMax accounts properly set up first. But once that's done, there's nothing to stop you from getting out there, sharing 7K with someone new, and collecting an instant gold payment. We're ready. Are you?
See, people, we made this thing so simple. Basically simple. I know people who have just simply said, hey, Ron, I'm going to invite my friends and family to get on a Zoom call. Can you do a presentation for me? The same presentation I do it. Their friends and family sign up. And a lot of them may say, hey, I don't want to build a business, but they sign up. And then they look in their back office and they look at, wait a minute, I brought 10 people in and I made $40. I got $400 in gold instantly. They may never ever build a business, but they got $400 in gold pay. Well, people, if every single month these people are sharing this information, maybe not sharing, it pays for their monthly autosaver. Because every month, people, you're going to get a coin. And with that coin is worth money. It's money. So you can't be hurt. But the great thing I love about it is this. I haven't seen one single coin yet that did not go up in value, right? So if I bought that coin for $100, it's going to go up to $200 and $300 and $500, just like we talked about that Montana butterfly. I bought this coin here for $150 with delivery. And guess what? That coin, I can sell it for $2,500. Well, funny thing about it is I put my kids on that $1.2 million road. So I have 5 of those coins that I could sell for over $2,000 a piece. See, this is what I loved about this company. So that's why I often say, stop me when I'm not making any sense. If today something happened drastic and I needed the money, guess what, people? I could sell my coins. You could sell your coins. And I don't like saying names, but I had a young lady who called me up. Been in the business now for just as long as I've been in it. She said, Ron, I've got a divorce and the bills are catching up to me and I'm going to have to get out of 7K Metals. So why would you do that? She said, I just can't afford to do it anymore. I said, what happened to the gold and silver that you had? She said, I still have it. I said, well, call 7K Metals. People, 7K Metals gave her $7,000 for her gold and silver. Remember, we talked about this. It's like a bank account. You keep putting your money into gold and silver. Whenever you need it, you can get it. They paid her bills off. So people, all we're telling you is don't look at it the way you're looking at it. Look at it the way it's supposed to be looked at. Look at it from the side of, hey, I'm helping you understand for that storm. And people, the storm comes all the time. I don't give a care what kind of life you are. You're going to have a storm. Prepare for it. That's what we do over here. But just sharing this opportunity, some people have already went through the storm and they want to know, where do I put my money? Well, people, if they put their money into their Sound Money wallet, you get 1% matching bonus off the money that you helped them do, right? We'll also talk about our legacy membership. This is the one I sell more than anything because it has the most value. Not just so much the dollar value, but when you really understand this business, really truly understand this business, you would say that $5.99 that they asked you to pay is nothing compared to what you can get out of it. You get that Sound Money wallet, you get Vault Max, you get a buyer certification and training class that teaches you what you should and what you shouldn't buy. You get Gold Pay. You get that stack and sell. See, people, you get stuff that's worth you paying that $5.99 for. But if you have still questions, what if you started and you wanted to share this opportunity with people? Well, if you share this opportunity with people, guess what? They can get on the GoPro, which again helps them get some extra value in it. And we talk about a wealth builder program where now people can start managing their money, putting a certain amount of money into a wealth builder certification every single month. But think about it this way. If nothing else, if you put $100 into your account every single month, you put away $100 and you put it into gold and silver, it's going to go up in value. But when people get into this business, they often ask me the question around how much of this stuff do I have to buy a month? How much? People, they're not getting it. You're not buying stuff. You're buying money. People, you do not take a $10 bill, 2 tens, and buy a 20. You transfer it. You don't take $4 or $5 bills and buy a 20. You transfer. So that's all you're doing in this business. You're just transferring your money from a fiat currency to a tangible asset. You can use it the same way, but it's intrinsic. It's going to go up in value. So when I looked at this thing, there are a lot of my friends and family who were on this half of Americans, right? Who couldn't afford a $400 hiccup. A lot of people who, the major reasons people don't want to raise their hand and say, that's me. Okay. But what we do over here is this. If I had Yvette who called me up one day and said, Ryan, you know what? I really would like to earn an extra $2,000 a month. I can say, you know what? Our company honestly can do it because I know a lot of people who make $500 a week. I know people who make $500 a week, and maybe not every week. Let's say every other week they make $500. But people, that's an extra $1,000 a month towards their bills. But what if they could make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 as a copper or bronze? What if Yvette had came to me and says, Ryan, you know what? I really want to make that 100-ounce silver bar so that I can have a GoFundMe. Well, people, we help you do it. We help you hit silver within the first 90 days, our team. So what we did is we put together a team called Sound Wealth Nation that helps people win. We teach you how to build. We work with you so that people can win in this business. And oftentimes people say to me, I never made money in network marketing because you weren't taught how to do it. You can't do it by yourself. You have to do it with a team. So hitting silver, now you can make up to $3,500 a week. People, that's $14,000 a month. See, you can live a good life off of 10. Take that other 4,000 and put it into what? Tangible assets. Now think about it the same way. Gold and silver the same way. You can put in the gold and silver, you're going to intrinsic value. But now when you start talking about building your business, just referring people. And people, I'm not trying to tell you you have to quit your job to do this thing. All you're doing is day-to-day sharing this opportunity with people. But we train you, teach you how to refer people. So let's just say this. You came into the business $5.99 and you said to yourself, Ron, I'm going to put it on a credit card. And you put that money on the credit card and you go out here and you share that plan. The same plan. Hey, listen, I just want you to jump on this call. If that's your mission, if you saw value in what we just talked about, don't you think other people would have that same value? You go out here and you say, hey, Ron, I want to do a presentation for my family. They become customers, right? And you just brought 4 people in. Guess what? If you brought 4 people in, what we talk about is our power of 4. You're going to get paid $320 in gold pay, right off the bat. And if you brought in 4 people, guess what? You just now made close to $1,000, pretty much $1,000. We've kind of lowballed this thing, but you've made $1,000 because we're going to help somebody else do the exact same thing. If it took you 30 days to pay off your credit card, people, we can help you make that $1,000 in the first week to put back in your account. But when we show you how we build this business, and we keep saying the word business, that's exactly what it is. It's a business. So share your thoughts with the person who invited you on this call. Hey, I just want to become a customer. I like what this guy was saying. I just want to buy the product. Or you may say to yourself, I'm interested in making some part-time money. And if you want to make some part-time money, people, it's very simple. Be willing to sacrifice or share 5 to 10 hours a week. I think that's the biggest thing right there, is the willingness. Because like I say, there are a lot of things that I could be doing on a Saturday morning, but I'm here helping you guys do the same thing. So if you're interested in making more money, tell a person who invited, I want to make more money. So that is our presentation.
Hello, this is Teresa. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to have more information, put info or more info in the comments section. Hope you have a lovely day, evening, or night. We love you. Bye.